This is an Evolve IP training video on how to use the Osmosis call recording portal. This application is used to locate and playback call recordings, plus listen to live calls in progress. In this video, you will learn how to operate the basic functionality of this application. When the application is first opened, the recordings window will open and display call recordings from the current day that you are authorized to access based upon the permissions granted by your group administrator. On the left-hand side of the screen is a search pane that allows you to search for calls based upon different criteria. Across the top of the window are tabs for Browse, where call recordings are accessed, Live, where live calls can be listened to real-time, Admin, for those users with administration privileges, and Account, for access to the logged-in user's account information. For this video, we will focus on the Browse and Live tabs only. Now let's start with the List of Recordings section of the window, which displays a number of columns of data. The calls are sorted so the newest calls appears at the top of the list. The first column contains a speaker icon that will begin playback of the selected call. In Internet Explorer, the audio controls appear in the upper right of the window. Through the audio controls, you can pause, stop, rewind, or fast forward a recording, plus control the volume. In other browsers, the audio controls do not appear, and the recording can be started and stopped by clicking on the speaker icon. To begin playback of a selected call, select the speaker icon. To pause playback of that call, select the Pause button. To stop playback entirely, select the Stop button. To mute playback, select the Mute button. To fast forward playback, select the Fast Forward button, and once the selected portion of the call is reached, select the Fast Forward button again to return to normal playback. To change the volume, move the slider up and down accordingly. The other key columns of data include the date and time of the call, the duration of the call in seconds, the local party, which is the employee's phone number, the direction column, which shows if the call was an outbound or inbound call, the remote party's phone number, the user or employee's name, and tags, which we will discuss shortly. For instance, the selected call came in today, June 21st, at 10:01 a.m., and lasted 1138 seconds. The call was received by Jonathan Bear, and the call was an inbound call from the 609 area code phone number. To sort by the different columns, click on the column label to sort that column in ascending order. Click it again to sort it in descending order. To search for particular calls, there are different criteria that can be applied. The most common searches are based upon date, time, and the calling parties. To filter calls for a particular employee, select Filter by User, and the search results will reflect only that employee. If your organization is set up with multiple groups, you can filter the search by a specific group by selecting Filter by Group, which will allow you to select the group or location. To search for a particular time window, select the start date from the calendar and then enter the time using a 24-hour time format. Then select the end date and time and hit the search button. The search results will display with the newest calls on top. To limit this search to incoming calls only, select Incoming in the Call Directions section and hit Search again. You'll see the search results will update and only reflect inbound calls where the direction arrow is pointing to the left. We are now looking at all the inbound calls on June 19th between 1 p.m. and 3:30 p.m. for Jonathan Bear. If I only want to see his longer calls, I can enter a minimum duration of 300 seconds to find any call lasting greater than 5 minutes. Similarly, to find short calls, enter a maximum duration in seconds. To remove all search criteria, hit the Reset button. Another common search is to find all recordings for a particular customer. To search for all calls with a particular phone number, enter the phone number in the remote party field. and enter the start date for the search. If you leave the end date blank, it will search for all calls from the start date until today. Now let's focus on the tag capabilities of the system, which are related to quality monitoring. You have the ability to create tags that can be assigned to calls to denote specific attributes you are tracking from a quality perspective. For instance, if you want to mark all the great sales or retention calls for retrieval later, you can assign those tags when listening to a call. Similarly, if the employee used bad language or dealt with an upset customer, you can assign the appropriate tag or tags to each call. You have the ability to assign predefined tags that have been created by your group administrator. When listening to a call, you can apply a tag at any time by selecting the Add Tags icon. This will bring up a new window where you can assign one or more tags to the current call. Select the appropriate tag from the list and select Add. To add a second tag, perform the same steps. Hit Submit once completed. There are some additional fields that can be associated with each tag too. For example, if you have a tag type called Complaint, but you wanted to associate it with a particular product, you would select the Complaint tag type and then enter the product name in the tag text. The Offset field is to denote where in the call the particular tag occurred, and the duration is used to specify how long to listen to the call. So if the complaint occurred 50 seconds into the call and lasted 2 minutes, I would enter the product name in the tag text field, 50 in the offset field, and 120 in the duration field since this is measured in seconds. When it comes time to review calls with a particular employee, you can now search for their calls with specific tags by including a tag name in your search. To find all of the complaint calls for that employee, filter by that user and then select the appropriate tag text. We are now looking at Tristan's complaint calls since June 1st. Let's look at the Live tab where we can listen to calls in real time. Select the Live tab at the top of the screen and select the appropriate group if you're prompted to reach the User Live Monitoring window. This window will display all the employees you're allowed to monitor, which has been determined by your group administrator. This window displays similar information that we saw with the Call Recordings tab. You will see Inactive listed for anybody who's currently not on a call. Scrolling through the list, you can see Live calls, where the local party and remote party are listed, along with the call direction and the current length of the call. To listen to a call, press the play button in the monitoring column, and you'll now be listening to that call in real time. The play button will turn red once it's being reviewed. Under Status, you'll see This Conversation Will Be Recorded listed, which is letting you know that the call is still being recorded and will be saved to the system once complete. You can assign tags to the call as well by clicking the Add Tag icon. Once you add the tag will appear in the Live Tag column to the very right. To stop listening to a live recording, press the play button again, and the play button will go back to yellow. To export calls out of the system for sharing or other archive purposes, select the checkbox to the very right for the calls that you wish to export, and from the Action drop-down, select Export Selected Media Files, which will open up a new window with the WAV files. To export all the calls listed on screen, select Export Query Results Media Files. This has been an Evolve IP training video on how to use the Osmosis Call Recording Portal. For more information, please visit our website at www.evolveip.net.